Welcome to the Trading Lounge. Today I would love to share with you the trades I made today on my journey to 100K, where I try to take this small account to $100,000 as a rookie day trader. Started this journey back in December. Here we are halfway-ish through the year. The account is green overall, but I am coming out of a bit of a drawdown and just kind of chipping away at that. This morning was interesting. We had like a 468% gainer that ripped up, and I was kind of not expecting it. And we're going to talk about why I wasn't expecting it. So for me, I just kind of missed the move. I did get a piece, but then I felt like I got it. It was late, and like I didn't want to chase the move. And then it just took the sales out of the market this morning. There was really nothing else that popped off, and I kind of felt like that might happen. Like a lot of traders in the Discord were like, in a couple of my Discords who made money on it, were like, I'm done for the day. Who made money on it, good money on it. And I didn't get my piece of it. I got a little piece of it. We are green today, and green is good coming out of a drawdown. So let's go through it. Green today, a whopping $17.62. Now, to be honest with you, like green is green. I'm happy to be green. And if there would have been a really good opportunity this morning outside of this stock, I would have taken it. I just didn't see anything. And I was kind of worried that if I did, that traders wouldn't really be going after it because they had already made their money for the day. That's just kind of what I was thinking, and maybe I shouldn't think that way, but I was. We're going to talk a little bit about this stock. It hit the scanner this morning right here. The scanner I'm using is from Charts Watcher. If you need this setup, let me know. I'll send you something very, very similar to this. Right now, the stock is up 206%. PLSM. We'll click on this. I already have it clicked. So it has news this morning at 4 o'clock. So let's take a look at this news. Okay. Right here is we'll just look at the headline. Pulsemore announced a strategic partnership with Oma Health to expand. Now look, we've had some merger news the last couple of days that has done pretty well. So that's stuck out to my head. Partnership with Oma Health to expand access to remote prenatal care across the United States. And if you look into this a little bit, it's actually it was actually ultrasound, like in-home ultrasound, like products or news, right? And to me, coming from a family whose my wife has been in L&D for so many years, I actually thought this was pretty relatively good news. Sure, there was no like money attached to it. There was no like revenue projections, but I'm like, I kind of feel like an in-home ultrasound care could probably do really well, especially for like, I don't know, I just kind of felt like that could be a thing. So when it initially popped up, I looked at it, and this is what I saw. Like, we're just going to pull this open. You can see what it did today, which is kind of crazy. But when it first went, it didn't go. And you can see by this volume over. I'm trying to make this as consolidated as I can here. But it, was sitting at like $3. It kind of gaps up to like, I don't know, whatever that is, $4. It goes up a little bit and then just comes right back down. And look at the sell volume. It just didn't do anything. It's low float, 4 million. It had a little news, and then you go look at the daily chart, and it's a blue sky, which ended up, being a thing today. So it just didn't do anything. It came up to like $6 or whatever it was, came back down, and just didn't do anything. But I did mark off some lines. I'm like, well, if it goes over $7.15-ish, and it's got a gap up to like $10. It goes over $10. We got a blue sky potentially. And I haven't really seen one of these successfully work out for me in a very long time. And so I was excited to watch it. But really, it just didn't do anything. And then all of a sudden, 15 minutes later, I get an alert on my scanner, and it starts doing this. Boom, 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 boom. Goes all the way up. Within like, I don't know, we'll call it like 5 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, under 10 minutes. Goes from $4 a share up to $19.50. What a move. Unfortunately, I missed it. I watched it. After watching the film, I went back and looked at my footage. After watching this, I noticed that this area was a little tough. So, because looking at this chart, I'm like, oh wow, this was easy. Every time it made a first 1 minute candle to make a new high all the way up, it pretty much was perfect. an easy, smooth move. That was not the case. This section right in here was really slow. So, which is the area I was kind of looking at live when I was actually trading. It hits this high, dips down. This candle opens, dips down, and really in this zone, it took like almost 40 seconds to cross over this section. So this area right here, was this area was like 40 seconds of wait time. If you were looking for a 1 minute candle to make a new high, you were waiting for quite some time. And if you were buying in here and you got it wrong, you probably lost a little bit of money. But once it broke the high, it did a pretty good job kind of taking off. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfectly clean, but it did okay. And I'll show you this on the 10-second chart. It actually did the same thing kind of up here where I ultimately got in on the stock. I got in on this candle right here, not for a 1 minute candle to make a new high, but I got in as this was pulled back. During this kind of pullback, looking for some kind of low that I could potentially, within that candle, that it would maybe run. And I ended up getting out really quickly. And I'll show that to you guys. But it was unfortunate that I missed this move. Come on. There we go. Let's take a look at the 10-second chart so I can show you kind of what was going on. So this is that section I was talking about in that candle that it just kind of hovered in that range and wasn't really doing anything. I mean, it just stuck in this range. And that's, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, a minute 10. For like a minute 10 seconds, really, if you count this pullback too, like a minute and 20 seconds, it just didn't really move. It was stuck there. And then it took off. And then the same thing happened right here where I got in. So I saw this pattern, and I'm like, okay, I see that pattern. I'm okay with that. That's fine. I wish I would have got in right here. I saw this, and I was like, oh, I might get in right here. This little red candle pullback right here. I wish I would have. Did not. And at this point, I think maybe there's a chance I could have entered this trade on a FOMO. I don't really feel that way. I feel like I was really looking for something, and I thought I got it right here. So as this thing kind of pulls up right here, you see kind of this section right here, which is very similar to this section right here. Now, the volume profile is a little bit different, but still very similar. And we're getting kind of the same action, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to get in. I should have waited, though. Was this? No, okay, we're good. I tried to get in right here on this candle right here. I wasn't really looking at the candle. I did see that this candle turned red, and I was like, okay. So when this green candle goes above this candle, I'll get in. And that ended up being like 920 something. I got in at like 926. It pops up to 940 something, and I got out for a very small profit. But just kind of rejected and came right back down. And then at that point, I was like, I don't know at this point if I want to risk it. And so I decided in my mind I just was not going to trade this because it was going sideways for quite some time, and I wasn't catching the moves in the momentum. And so I just wasn't sure. So then I watched this come down right here, and I thought about getting in right there, and I wish I would have. This was the start of a new minute, right? So this is 7:19. I thought about getting right there, and here as well. And I was kind of afraid that if I made a mistake here on 250 shares with how much the stock was moving up and down, if I made the wrong call and I accidentally held, I'd be down like $200. And I just, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it chasing that high. I don't usually like to trade something over $10, and I wish I would have gotten a little bit sooner. But if you go look at this one right here, this was really clean move in my opinion. This was 7:19. And let me do this, escape. And on the 1 minute chart, that was right here, I think. Let's see. Yeah, that was a pretty clean move. Excuse me. Wow. Yeah, it comes up, first 1 minute candle that went red. And then once this candle made a new high right here, it took off, and then this one took off. So there's a couple clean moves in here. I just didn't trade it. I missed it. And I missed it because I totally looked away. In this range, I wasn't paying attention to the stock at all. I just rejected off this news. I was starting to look, it's a good lesson learned on my part. I was starting to look at my data import to be able to show you guys this video today. So the data import from yesterday to kind of get that all set up. And I'm like, okay, it's a little slow right now. And then all of a sudden this thing starts taking off. I close down my data. I go take a look. The lesson learned here is like when I'm trading, we got to be focused on trading because anything can happen. And while I was not quite understanding why this was moving now versus 15 minutes prior, that didn't matter. I need to be trading price action. And I kind of got lost in these early phases here where I should have entered and kind of, well, I guess I did enter at an okay time, but like, it would have been nice to be in a little bit earlier. I don't know. It wasn't the cleanest until a little bit later, but I would have loved to have been in there, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. Come to find out, I believe this to be true. Over on Day Trade Dash, this was actually showing a higher float. We'll call it 50 million. So those folks over there weren't even really probably not even looking at this stock in this range. Had it shown that it was low float, especially being a blue sky, there's a chance that this move happens, that all of this happens earlier, which is what I was looking for. Because at this point, it feels like continuation off of this news, and I just didn't understand what was going on. I was a little confused. I wasn't quite ready for it, and it's a good lesson learned on my part. Now, I'm happy I got in and got out, but I would have loved to have gotten in and had it just run up on me. It just didn't happen. And, that's how it goes. And so we got in, got out, made a little profit. I kind of like, I've shown you guys this over here. It's the kind of net P&L, so it takes out some fees, which is nice. So you can kind of see like I was $15 on that stock, but I ended up, almost, because I added liquidity right here, it's not quite as much of a fee, but it ended up being $14.49 and $1.88. But I mean, I'm not going to show that all the time. I just thought it was kind of cool that I can see that. This is typically the number I show you guys. It just makes it really, really easy. And then another stock popped up. It was FRTT. I really wanted this because my thought was like anyone who missed the move like I did would probably want to get in on something. And this stock hit the scanner with news. I believe it had news. FRT, yeah, it had news. Under 1 million float. I loved the price. It was like just over $2. And this was, look at this. Look over here. Another blue sky attempt over $5, right? So similar setup. Thinking maybe we can get over $5, get a little blue sky. But I wanted to see something. This is a Canadian stock. I wanted to see something a little bit more from this stock, and I just didn't get it. Now on the 10-second chart, I'll just do one chart, and then I'll just do it this way. And then I'll switch it to 10 seconds. Can I from here? Not easily, which is kind of annoying. There should be like a button here to switch to the 10-second chart without me having to nah, that's fine. But so you can see on this 1 minute, this thing went from just over $2 up to $6 in one 1 minute candle. That's a wonderful move. And then it just rejects right after that, right? I thought about getting in. This candle just opens here, goes above. I almost got in right there. I didn't. I was waiting because I wanted it to show a little bit more strength. And then when I saw it pump down right here, it came all the way down to right here and then started to push back up. And we saw this yesterday as well. So I thought, okay, if this thing was to open and go ahead and make a run above this, I might entertain that idea. I would. I totally would. If this would have opened green, went green, and you can see it went up here, I didn't get in there. If it would have opened and if it would have passed over this, or, it would have finished here and the next one opened and went over this, I would have went in. If something would have threatened this high, I think I would have went. I was watching this, and that was kind of the decision I made in my head. It just never did it. Now, if you got in on this early, and I'll show it on the 10-second chart, if you got on this early, the signs were there for you to be able to make some cash, for sure. There's that little jackknife right there, though. If you got caught in that, whew. But early on, you've got a little bit of volume here, not a ton. The volume kind of creeps in on these next three candles. I don't know. Now that I look at this, I'm not really sure. I mean, if you get in on this candle to make a new high right here, $3 all the way up to $5, that was a pretty clean move. But if there's this nasty little rejection right there, that's a pullback of $1, right? And then this opens, climbs up, you get another pullback down here, and this might have been the candle that was probably the one. You get this pullback, it makes a new high over this amount right here, and you get in, you take a profit. There was certainly an opportunity to take a profit on this stock within that first kind of 1 minute candle. Let me look at this real quick. 26, yeah. So there was opportunity here to make some money, and I have to go back and take a look at the replay to see price action, but yeah. So anyway, those are the two stocks I traded. Really, for me, FRTT is kind of a wash. I'm still, up because I added liquidity, which makes me happy. I'm still up, $1.88 on that. Covers the fees of basically both the trades I made. And so anyway, up $17.62 today. Let's take a look at the data from yesterday. So I imported yesterday's data. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I did suffer a pretty big drawdown last Wednesday when I got emotionally compromised. That's like 2 videos ago. If you want to check it out, maybe I'll find out some way to be able to link that in today's video. I haven't done any of that kind of stuff yet, so maybe I will. And I'm slowly kind of working back to that. That's why today I just $17 green. By the way, I'm going to be tempted to trade AH, but for me, I have made a commitment to myself not to trade AH and not to trade the regular trading window. And I think for me, that the feeling of wanting to trade AH and then not trading it, specifically not trading it, helps me build discipline. And that discipline is going to carry over long term. So I'm going to stay with this. It's really easy for me to want to trade AH when I've had a very small green day or a red day. So the discipline to not trade at the regular trading hours and after hours and try to master pre-market, that's going to be key for me, I think, going forward. So anyway, at least that's what I'm thinking in my head. Anyway, the goal for this month is to try to get back some of this. If I can get, for this month we're down $280. This was the first day on Lightspeed where I overtraded and kind of wasn't worried, and then turns out that cost me a pretty penny. And then we had this day here followed by another kind of red day, and now I'm just going to try to start dig out. The idea here is to take. I wanted to have $100 in profit. That was my profit target, and $50 is my max loss. And so risking $50 to make $100 on the day. And so I would have loved to have this been closer to $100, but green is green. Happy about that. And we're just going to chip away at this. My hope is that by the end of the month, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more trading days. My hope is that we can get this P&L back to break even on the month, which would be nice. And it would be even greater if I could recover all of this loss from the week. Really, this whole thing right here, this $800-ish, $900, we're calling it $1,000. If I could recover that in that time frame, it's not a huge deal if it doesn't happen. Again, I'm going with these profit targets to try to kind of slowly chip away at this. It might take a few weeks. That's fine. But trying to play smart. And then let's look at is it the account? Yeah. I've been asked about this quite a bit. So this is where we're at right now on the P&L. So we've made, since starting this challenge, we've made $961. That has been close to 2K before. And so there's the ebbs and flows of trading. I've been in and out of drawdowns ever since I've come close to that 2K mark. And now we're just going to chip away at this bad boy. So one thing, I wanted to thank everyone for your support. I just hit 1,000 followers on YouTube, and I didn't really know what that meant. I'm just trying to document this as a way for me to kind of journal my trades, and maybe there's people out there that will watch them and I can learn from, and maybe they're on a similar journey. We can learn from each other. It's just kind of a way to be able to document this whole thing and connect with other traders and learn and grow together. And it wasn't really until I got an alert on my phone over the weekend that I hit that follower account, and then it was like, hey, by the way, you can activate pre-roll ads or ads, and I was like, well, yeah, I guess I should do that. So I activated the ads. I didn't do any mid-roll stuff. It's all pre-roll, so you shouldn't see anything in the middle of my videos. I just think for now I'm just going to keep it at the beginning. But it's kind of cool. I've never really thought that would ever happen, and turns out I had more than enough watch hours. So thank you guys for watching these videos. You got to have watch hours plus the 1,000 followers to be able to activate that. And that's a pretty rad byproduct of everything kind of going on. And then maybe as time moves on, I'll show you guys what that looks like. I don't think there's very much money to be made there, but I don't know. And so it's just kind of cool that's just kind of a cool little milestone I wasn't really thinking about that hit me, and it's pretty darn rad. Anyway, I hope you guys were green on the day, and again, I truly appreciate all of you guys for following along on the journey and being a part of this whole thing. I'm just airing out my dirty laundry, these big losses and small wins, and sometimes it's not easy to come in here and do that. But I believe it's building some discipline to be able to do this long term. Anyway, Love you guys. See you tomorrow.